Alrighty, nifty 91.50 WRPI Troy, give me shelter. And we've been listening to Colonel Douglas McGregor talking about the Ukraine war. And of course we kicked the show off intermittently with Blue Monk, Felonious Monk, and Smelton John with Rocket Man, just because I wanted to hear Rocket Man. Why do you think I come here? I just come here to hear the things I want to hear. I tell you about the Alabama preacher. Well, it could have been anybody. It could have been a South Carolina preacher. It could have been a North Carolina preacher. It could have been a Virginia preacher, a Florida preacher, a Georgia preacher, or Louisiana preacher, or even Kentucky or somewhere. Somewhere in his congregation, somebody in his congregation spread a rumor. You know how rumors are. Rumor was that he belonged to the Ku Klux Klan. Golly gee, I thought the Ku Klux Klan put suits on and went to Washington. Anyway, this was a horrible lie, and he was very embarrassed, and he intended not to accept this. And he said he wanted to know the party who said this to stand and ask forgiveness before the Lord. Not a soul moved, and the preacher continued, "Do you have the nerve to face me and admit this falsehood? Remember, you will be forgiven, and your heart will feel glory, and you will be cleansed. It's a new baptism. Now stand and forget." Confess your transgression. Again there was silence. Then slowly a gorgeous creature stood up, with head bowed and a quivering voice, spoke slowly. "Reverend, there has been a terrible misunderstanding. I never said you were a member of the Ku Klux Klan. I simply told a couple of my friends that you were a wizard under the sheets." Golly gee, Hairman. How about a tale of existentialism and stoicism wrapped around the morally exhausted and emotionally bankrupt? Well, it was an August evening. It was the night and day that the sheriffs arrested pretty much a whole town on a mountaintop, except for those that had enough sense to run into the woods and escape the popo. Now, as all the squad cars appeared, the state police had enough sense to stand back and let the sheriffs commit their fiasco. And people were loaded into the paddy wagon and later transported down the hill, off the mountain, and locked in the sheriff's locker room. For there was too many to put in the Crowbar Hotel. And the tale goes like this, that people were slipping joints into the lockers of sheriffs to destroy the evidence. Who knows what the truth really was? You had to be there. Well, it turns out, and not the moral of the story, it turns out that a lady was dating one of the sheriffs. She told her boyfriend, who was a sheriff, that she wanted her son arrested for smoking dope. So the sheriff woke up the town justice in the middle of the night to see if he could get him to sign the warrant. And with warrant in hand, the cops proceeded to arrest the R-Ville 51. There were cars surrounding the lake house overlooking the Forget-Me-Not Lake. Wow. Most of the town was there, and those that weren't were either sleeping or had run in the woods, and it was what you would call a summer kegger where everybody was invited, and the windows were open, and you could see baggies thrown out of the window. And early, very early, before daybreak the next morning, Ray the gardener closely mowed around the house. He figured figured somebody was gonna get in trouble. Others figured somebody was gonna get in trouble, for maybe there was people under 18 that perhaps had taken a beer. Turned out the justice, in his wisdom in the middle of the night, didn't sign the warrant correctly, and they had to let them all go. That is, after the fingerprinting and such. By early dawn, the town was back to normal. Yeah, that's the tale of the great